Risha, and I'm a grade 10 student from Stillville District Secondary School. To me, science is a seed. A seed has this ability to turn into a flower. And just like that, science is knowledge. And this knowledge has the ability to turn into something that positively impacts billions of people. Science is a mindset and this tool that allows us to create a flower and positively impact billions. And just like how a seed turns into a flower and it goes through so many steps and stages, I feel like science is this mindset, and you can think of it as a seed. And in order to go from a seed to a flower or something that can positively impact people, it also goes through many stages. So the seed is the most basic form, and it is the basic knowledge and facts that can be used to create some sort of observation or ask a question. And based on that, we can make a hypothesis. And that's ultimately the start of creating something new that can impact people. And this is ultimately science at its core. It's knowledge and it's facts that can allow us to create something to impact people. So in other words, the flower.
An example of this seed or stage is how I'm part of an internationally genetically engineered machines team, also known as iGEM, and how we made an observation and hypothesis about how we could use bacteria to treat cancer.
So then a sprout, which comes after, it represents some sort of experiment, a controlled experiment, talking to people, and ultimately researching our hypothesis and finding if it can be true or not in form of an experiment, in form of talking to people, studies, reading research papers, etc.
The sprout, or the research phase of iGEM, was basically how we were researching the different questions we had about it, meaning how would we deliver the bacteria to the cancer. And we also talked to people that are currently in this field, and we got feedback on our idea. And actually we had to pivot on our idea because we found that since we were thinking of targeting pancreatic or liver cancer, that was not possible as that was too deep into the body.
And then it basically turns into a small plant. And in my opinion, that is, in science, it's recording and analyzing the results from this experiment and seeing what has happened.
And although with iGEM we aren't there yet, our hope is that this summer we get ourselves into a lab, we do some DNA synthesis. Before we get into a lab this summer, we research what would be the best delivery option and what would be the most effective place in our body to use that delivery option.
And then the last part is the adult. It's all grown up, and I think that's really the innovation or something that can impact people. So in terms of a plant, the plant acts as food for many animals. It acts as home for many animals. So that product is impacting people. And I think the product of science or knowledge also impacts a lot of people too. For our project with iGEM, our flower or our plant is that we want to be able to save lives from cancer. And this started off with a seed of knowledge, which was our hypothesis and observation. And through all these stages, our hope is that it turns into this plant that saves lives. Throughout this process of turning knowledge into more knowledge or into something that can be useful for people and impact people, I think teamwork is really important. An important part of a flower is how it can be used to pollinate, and there's pollination that happens throughout this process. Personally, I've learned a lot from working with my peers and mentors and learning a lot from each other. And I think that is really represented through pollination, because in pollination you're spreading, this to everybody. Now, in order to turn a seed into a plant, we need a lot of things like water and sunlight. And I think in order to be successful or do something great in science, we need a lot of things like water and sunlight. And I think that is represented through the mindsets that we need in science. And I think that is also, science is a great representation of the mindsets we need to be successful in this field. So things like figuring things out can be represented through one of the rays of the sunlight. Growth mindset is another thing that can be represented through another rays of sunlight. Bias towards action and getting things done and researching things can also be a big mindset in science. This is how I've used a seed and turned it into a plant multiple times this year through some of my projects that lie in the intersection between technology and science. Regular cells to find the mutated regions for the next step.
You can see that there are 569 rows of data. So there's
Right now, I'm working on a drug discovery project using machine learning, and I'm using machine learning to discover and suggest new drugs to treat a woman's reproductive disease. And I have founded a project plan that basically has two main sections: a neural network that classifies a specific drug, and then a GAN that suggests new drugs. And I'm exploring the different options with experts in biology and machine learning, for example, Darian Schittler and Tiana Liu, and many other amazing mentors. So when I think in the simplest form, science is knowledge and facts, and that can be represented as a seed. And when we add these mindsets and we utilize these mindsets in this field, we can turn the seed, or we can use this knowledge and we can turn it into a plant, or in other words, we can use it to basically create something that can impact a lot of people. And it would be an absolute privilege to take part in the Sick Kids Mentorship Program to develop this seed and turn it into a plant so that I can impact billions. Thank you!